Welcome back, Filmholics. My name is Kyle Kenrick, and in this channel you'll find anything and everything filmmaking. And before we get started in this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe and grow out this channel. Again, we're almost at 200, so excited for that. And today, we're gonna be checking out, well, this new episode. This is the first episode of this type of thing. And basically, this is gonna be my thoughts on. So if there's something happening in Hollywood, or if there's a new form of gear, or if gear isn't coming out, or something happening in the influencer or YouTube community, I would like to apply my thoughts into it. So today we're going to be talking about the lack of the a7s III. So this year there was a rumor of a lot of Sony cameras being released, and they've released a lot. Like for example, the camera I have, the a6400, they released the a6100 and the a6600. And then there was two other cameras that were rumored, and we thought, as a Sony fan base, we kind of thought it was gonna be the Sony a7s III because it's not here yet. We have the Sony a7R III. Where's the a7s III? Where's the amazing low light camera that we could get that is amazing for cinema? And the two other cameras got announced was the a7R4, which is weird because there's still no a7s III, and then the a9 II, which that one does make sense. They did make the a9 a few years back, or a year back, and honestly, it's a decent camera. Really expensive, so if you want to go for that one, go for it, I guess. But again, we're missing the a7s III. So I'm going to be talking about that, and as a Sony user, as someone who transferred from Canon to Sony just because the S-Log and the mobility and the kind of ecosystem that they've created for YouTube and content creating and cinema in general is really good. It's really dope. A lot of short films like use the a7s II, and it's a great camera. But with all these other cameras and other camera companies that are getting released, for example, Panasonic just released a full frame camera that it records in 10-bit and records in amazing bit rates and records in amazing frame rates and records in so many other features. So we were expecting Sony to just like change the game of cameras with the Sony a7s III. So where is it? None of us know. That's the sad part. We don't know when it's coming out. A lot of us have been waiting ever since the Panasonic GH5s. We were like, so Sony, about that camera. And it breaks my heart. It really does break my heart because I don't want to change my ecosystem of cameras. I really love using Sony's, and I love the idea of changing into Panasonic just because of how great they are with filmmaking features. It seems like they were really following that niche, and mainly that niche versus the whole Sony ecosystem where they're going more and more into photography. And I enjoy that, and I get that there's like photography influencers on Instagram and they're flourishing, but a lot of us fell in love with the Sony a7s II. I still have mine right here, and I love this camera to death, but the color science and the sensor is still getting more and more out of date. It records in 6K, downgrades it to 4K, and puts it into your SD card only in 8-bit. One SD card slot, same battery as the a6000 that they still have. So we're wondering, hey, we need this a7s III to change the game. We need 10-bit, we need dual SD cards, we need a better battery life system, we need better color science. And they haven't released it. So I'm really distraught about that. And I really want them to be in the top of the game again, because they were kind of changing up the whole, they were in the top of the mountain with their whole sensor and everything, and they were rocking everyone around just because of how much innovation they kept on changing. And they do it all the time. They have the flip out screen like the the a6400, and what the new flagship line, which is the a6300, and then the new a6000, which is the a6100. So it's really disappointing, and it's just a bummer in general that Sony's kind of ignoring one side of their whole spectrum of consumers, which is the filmmaking industry. And yes, you can film with the a7 III, you can film with the a7s II, you can film with the a6600, a6400. But we were really excited to see what would happen if they made a new a7s model. And I really hope that they get more into that, and I hope they do eventually release it. But if by the end of this year or in a few more months, if that doesn't happen, I am actually considering changing into Panasonic, just because they just follow that niche so well. So we'll see what happens with that, but for now it's just my heart's broken, Sony. And I'm using Sony's all the time, and I love them to death. I love color grading their stuff. It's gonna be weird changing to Vlog instead of S-Log, or even the HLG that you guys just have in your new picture profile settings. I hope you guys release it soon, because I really would like to upgrade this camera, but we'll see what happens there. Sorry if this was a bummer video, by the way. That's my first thoughts on. I just kind of had this brewing inside of me for a while, where I'm just hoping for this camera and really waiting for this camera, waiting to upgrade my camera, waiting. It got kind of bottled up, and now I got to release it on camera. So that's what I kind of wanted to talk about in my first thoughts on video. Other than that though, that's it. But if you feel the same way as me, just go ahead and subscribe and follow me on this whole weird camera journey, I guess. And also like this video if you also agree with me. Maybe if they see it, it'd be great. Also, if you guys could follow the links right after, if you guys want to buy any of the products that I use to create these types of videos, or any of my other types of videos, please go ahead and check the links down below. There are no extra cost to you guys, it just helps out the channel. Also, if you guys find a better price online, just go ahead and go for that, because filmmaking is just expensive in general. I'm always looking for deals online. But also, of course, dream on.